Hello. I hope you are doing well. It's cloudy today. I have a quick story for you. I was in class on main campus yesterday, and well, actually, it was today. This stranger walks in. I've never seen the person in my entire life. He said, "Hey, Miss Smith." I was like, "Hey." He said, "I was in your online class last semester." I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "That's odd." I said, "Because I didn't recognize you." I said, "This semester my students are doing flip grids." And I said, "I really enjoyed it because I actually get to see their face. And so now I can put a name with the face and hopefully know my online students." And so I asked him, I said, did you recognize me from my videos?" He said, "Nah." He said, "To be honest, I never watched any of your videos." And my heart was absolutely crushed. He said he only recognized me because my name was on the door. So if you're watching this video, you are ahead of the game as far as an online student goes, and I really appreciate it because it's very time consuming, and I enjoy making the videos, but I only enjoy it because I think that they're helpful. So um anyway, he said he never watched a video. He said he didn't recognize me from like my appearance. He recognized me because my name was on the door. Okay, last week, well, let's go back a week before that. You did the multiple intelligence lab. I am making this video Thursday at 1:48 p.m. I think there are two people whose labs I have not graded. I left the answer key on campus, and so I'm going to have to finish that up tomorrow. When you're watching this video, you will have turned in the tipping lab. I hope that was not very long and it was not meant to be super challenging. But the goal there is that you can read an article in a magazine and understand that data, understand that chart that they gave you about tipping. They had some pictures and some images and stuff. And that is an important skill to master, to be perfectly honest. You also had the chapter 7 and 8 reviews. So chapter 7 is probability. Chapter 8 is data interpretation. Then you took an unproctored quiz on both of those chapters put together. So it was not proctored. You could take it at home. You could use your notes. And so I will be looking at those grades soon. Forgive me. You posted a Flipgrid reflection, I hope, on how this course has gone for you. And I need you, in addition, to submit the online course evaluation. When you log into Moodle, it asks like, would you like to fill out the course evaluations now? And you can click do now or save for later. I'm not sure. But those end March 18th. It is extremely, extremely important to me. That is one of the ways that I'm evaluated for my job at RCC. And last semester I had a class that only had one student that completed the survey. And I need more than one person. Like, you don't get a well-rounded view of how the course went and how they liked your instruction if there's only one voice. So I would love, love, love to have every single one of you. We have about 15 people in our class, and I would love for you to fill that out. It's very, very important. Now, that's different than the Flipgrid post. The Flipgrid post is for our class to hear how this course has gone for you thus far. The course evaluation, it's private, it's completely anonymous. I'll never know who submitted it. You can make comments at the end. If you have a comment, I would love for you to put in a comment. I noticed last semester very few people put in comments, and that's something I would like to increase. I think the comments can be more personable. The comments can elaborate a little bit more. The survey is just kind of like yes, no, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 type thing. But at the end, if you want to make some comments, that would be great. Please take the course evaluation. It's very, very important to me. It's very important to my job. If you've ever been evaluated on your job, I mean, you know that is important. And so the only way I can really have any valid evaluation scores is if I have a really good turnout amongst my students. This coming up week, you're going to respond to 2 of the Flipgrids from last week. So you're going to watch Deandra or Maisha or Ethan or Summer or, whoever, 2 people in the class. I posted myself. So you're going to respond to 2 people on the Flipgrid that we had from last week about their reflection post. You're also going to start a new chapter. I think this chapter is the most challenging. To be honest, after this chapter, we only have one more chapter. So it's chapter 5, that's linear and exponential equations, and then we'll have a chapter on finance and interest at the end. That's it. So we only have 2 more quizzes, one proctored, one unproctored. This week is linear and exponential equations. If you've done this before, then it's not difficult. But if this is something that you're not familiar with, I think this is a little bit harder to jump on board with because it's not quite as common as like percentages. You use percentages every day, whether you remember it from, previous math class or not. Probability, you read about probability and you've played cards or whatever. Data interpretation, you've read graphs, you've looked at pie charts, you know how to read a magazine. All that stuff is somewhat familiar, but this chapter to me is not quite as familiar, and it's not something that you see in everyday life quite as frequently. Speaking of, you have a COVID lab this week. I will be honest, this article is from the first breakout of COVID, which would have been 2020. But the article's still pertinent. The article's still really, really good. And all you do is you read the article and answer the lab at the same time. I have typed up the lab to match the article. So, if you find the answer to number 1, then the answer to number 2 is going to follow that in the article. And then the answer to number 3 is going to follow that in the article. The lab follows the article. You cannot do it without reading the lab. This is not one of those things that you're like, oh, I'm not going to read that. Let me just answer the questions. There's no math to this particular lab. It's reading what the article says about linear growth of COVID versus exponential growth of COVID. Now, like I said, this is a couple of years old. So COVID, as you know, we've had waves and we've had ebbs and we've had flows. We've had different variants. We had the Delta variant. We had the Omicron variant. So, things have changed with COVID. But the lab is really, really good because it's something in the real world. It's an actual article about something we have all lived to see. And it compares them to linear and exponential equations, which is exactly what we're talking about in this particular unit. I think that's it. I actually had a one more assignment I wanted to give you this week, but since you have to post your Flipgrid responses from last week, I'm going to have to bump that to next week. Next week, we'll be doing a Flipgrid about COVID. So we will post about our COVID experiences next week. I hope you have a great week. It's this video is like 7 minutes so far. I hope you have a great week. Spring break, if you did not know, spring break for Richmond Community College is the week after Easter. April 18th is the Monday after Easter, so the 18th through that Friday, we will be off. You will not have assignments that week. I may open up the next week early. So like if you want to work on some things that week, if you want to get ahead that week, you can, but you won't have to. It is a break. I know I want a break, and I know you probably want a break. Should you choose to work ahead, that would be fine as well. But April 18th, which is the Monday after Easter, begins our Richmond Community College spring break. So let me know if you need anything, and good luck on 5.2 and 5.4 this week.